Welcome to Cut the Crap, the unapologetic, unfiltered podcast about the real life behind business, personal growth, and the beautiful chaos of it all. I'm your host, Kirsten, a creative founder, business mentor, and mum, navigating entrepreneurship in a way that's deeply human, never polished, and far from perfect. After 2 decades building businesses and working alongside some of the most inspiring people I know, I have learnt this. The real stories, the ones that don't make the highlight reels, are the ones that matter most. So this podcast is exactly that. Real conversations, raw moments, no hustle hype, no BS, just honest stories from people doing life and business on their own terms. Let's cut the crap. Welcome to another episode of Cut the Crap. I'm so excited to have you all back again, and I have a wonderful guest on today who I am so excited to introduce. So let's get into it. Today I'm joined by someone who has had an impact on my own health and journey. Her name is Dr. Keri Krieger. I started seeing Keri on the recommendation of a friend, and my experience with her has been nothing short of magical. She has the ability to tap into exactly what you need, blending her 2 decades of experience as a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine and such a deep compassion and presence. Keri is also a passionate writer and educator and focuses on women's health and perimenopause. She offers courses that help practitioners better understand perimenopause and runs a mentoring community for acupuncturists called Stab Club, which I'm excited to talk about. Keri's passion lies in women's health, particularly perimenopause, and she's on a mission to help women break through the silent barriers and social pressures that tell us we have to have it all together. She believes this generation of women will become the wildest and healthiest elders of the future, and she is determined to make that happen. Welcome, Keri.
Oh my goodness, what an introduction. Thank you.
I was like, I have to get it right.
Oh my goodness, that is like, I'm like, okay. Like I was thinking, okay, perhaps I'd get teary like halfway through our podcast. No, I'm already there.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I knew when we met, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to have a good time together,
We really
you
are.
and I.
We really are.
And, it has been amazing, getting to know you and understand, obviously experience your wisdom and teachings already, and see the benefits on my own body. And I was like, we just need to tap into this so much more. And I think the conversations that we've already been having and the things that we've been sharing are something that are so widespread and so needed in this community of women right now. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before we dive in, I start every conversation the same way.
Yeah.
So let's cut the crap. Where did it really begin for you, and what shaped this version that we see today?
Ooh. So this version, who is talking to you here, who owns a acupuncture clinic, who runs this wild thing called Stab Club, who lives on the northern end of the Gold Coast. I mean, she's a pretty new version of me. And she's a pretty new version of me. And she really, I feel, I just turned 50. She really came about through this whole midlife shitstorm, can we say?
Yeah.
Over the last 5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So there is literally not a single element of my life, relationship, where I live, the work that I'm doing, the teaching that I'm doing, there's not a single element that is in action and, hopefully thriving today that existed 5 years ago.
Wow. That's big.
It's huge. It's been a large time.
Yeah, it has been a large time. So how did you, what was your childhood like? How did you grow up?
I grew up in North Queensland, in what was then cane farming town. So, you think tropical islands, a very kind of country but still urban life.
Yes.
I often joke about having sort of been the origin story of upper middle class Bogand,
Yes.
there's just a real old-fashioned regional sense, and there's a lot of beauty that came from that. I also grew up in a very unsafe house environment, so I think healing that, and it has been a lifelong journey, working with our origins, if we haven't addressed some of those things, really does play out in midlife. So you've got the kind of beauty with the hardship, as a lot of people I know will understand.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just life, and those things do go hand in hand. But it's given me a capacity for the importance of the simple things in life.
Yeah.
And how valuable they really, really are, and the importance of time for deep compassion, and the importance for being able to heal from the inside out.
Yeah. And so where do you feel that, this sort of journey took you? Like, how did you sort of start, after school? Where did you go into, what was the next step for you?
Yeah. And I love sharing this story actually, because it is, I was very young. I left home at 17. I got accepted in a creative arts degree. I was the all singing, all dancing, all what have you, sort of arts, student in high school. Got accepted in a creative arts degree here on the Gold Coast when I was 18. But had always been really curious about natural health, which is a really strange thing to work out where that came from, because there was no internet. I lived in a very kind of simple, rural, urban environment. We only had 2 TV stations. Like, it's a very, very, very different environment to what we kind of live in now.
Yes, definitely.
And I was the kid that was always at the kind of one local crystal hippie shop, you know, like reading like weird books about like herbs and plants and, just probably in hindsight, very strange things.
Yeah.
And that curiosity was still there. So I was doing my creative arts degree in theatre and writing, and I just had this real desire to learn about herbal medicine and healing, and I really can't pinpoint where that came from other than just some strange internal curiosity.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, one of the only private colleges at the time prior to Endeavour College and a few other places have since opened up and are quite mainstream now.
Yeah.
But I just decided off I pop. I'm going to leave my arts degree. What I thought I was going to do with that, I'm not entirely sure, but I was having a grand time.
Yeah.
If you can imagine, 1995, there was a lot of fun times to be had.
Yeah, definitely.
And went off and started this qualification, which was the Advanced Diploma of Applied Sciences in Acupuncture and Chinese Medicine. I did a chemistry bridging course because, of course, I'd done straight arts through high school.
Yes, yeah.
And off I went.
Wow. And what did your family say?
They were, my great aunt funded. She was very, very, very lucky, and to have this kind of generous fairy godmother.
Yeah.
She funded my whole qualification, and it was pretty much like, as long as you're happy.
Yeah.
We didn't really quite know what you were going to be doing anyway.
Yeah, okay. No one really gets the whole creative, I think up until the day my mum passed away, I don't think she actually knew what I did.
And even it's only been very, very recently that I can see my parents are like, we don't necessarily cognitively understand what it is you do, but it's cool and you're happy and you're thriving and your life has meaning for you, and they're really, really happy, and it's wonderful to see that. But for a long time it was like we don't really know what Keri does, but she's not doing drugs and she's paying her tax, and so we're really happy about that,
She's okay.
She's okay.
She's safe.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, how funny. So, wow. So that's like a big lump, but a big leap. But I think, what I'm hearing is that, it's the curiosity that you had. You always had this curiosity for more, and, and that's, I think, something that drives someone who is, an entrepreneur and
Yes.
who is so open to the universe, let's say, that, to have that curiosity and be able to take on new things and just take that leap of faith that, was not really back then. Was not normal, was it?
No.
Now it's very different, but back then it was like, oh no, you have to finish year 12 and
and
go to you and do this and do this degree and be practical.
And it's possible that I could have, I mean, there's pathways where I could have gone into, writing of some sort, journalism or something that was possibly more mainstream. But off I went.
Wasn't for you. No. How exciting. So I know for me, coming to see you has been nothing short of magical, and I've already said that. But you have this ability to tap into exactly what, the person needs. And can you share your journey of how you got to women's health and why, this has become such a passion for you?
Yeah, look, it is, goodness, that's a great question and it's a big one. Like most healers, whether you're an acupuncturist or a naturopath, even GPs, I would imagine there's some desire to help and heal, or there's some internal driver to understand your own health better. Whether it's part-time courses or actual qualifications, there's this kind of desire to understand why I am the way that I am, or why that part of me isn't working as well as I could, or why am I in pain, or what's going on.
Yes.
So I think there was always that natural curiosity that you mentioned, and in amongst just falling into things and following the breadcrumbs, I worked in health retreats for a really long time, and you see a very particular sector of the high functioning, burnt out corporate culture.
Yes.
And you do, as a therapist of any sort, you do witness some of the most intimate, personal thoughts and experiences and life circumstances that people are going through, because when they come in with their back pain, they're also telling you about their birth trauma story.
Yes.
When they come in with their knee pain, they're talking about, that holiday that they took on a ski trip after their, husband left.
Yeah.
So you're getting the whole layers of what's happening for that person. And Chinese medicine, I think, having studied that at such a young age, I mean, at any age, but at such a young age, it's formed like the filter that I see the world through. And I see how things are connected in ways that potentially, normally, I don't know what that is, might not be available to people.
Yeah, right.
And so that model of what is healthcare, most people understand, like they come to an acupuncturist because they're in pain, or they are sort of undergoing IVF treatment, or there's something else going on. It's not just a therapy to support health, although obviously that's a very, very big part of what it does and how most people experience it. It is a way of life. It is a way of seeing the interconnectedness of yourself and the people you love and where you live and the seasons and the food you're eating. It's all part of the same beautiful puzzle. And so seeing that puzzle the way that I do, I understood, or I came to understand, that the way that I see that isn't something that most people have access to. And I could translate for my clients what their body was trying to tell them, without it being about me, without me needing to be a guru or a healer or any of that, because you've got this glorious ancient medicine and science. Art and science, I often call it, because it is both an art and a science. You've got this wonderful medicine that I get to then help people translate what's going on. So yes, their knee pain, we're going to pop some points in for that. But then we're going to have a conversation about your stress levels and why you can't sleep and how that is actually affecting your joint pain, for example. And that might seem like such disparate things, But I guess that's how I see everything.
Yeah, yeah. And so have you all, like, so you said, the last, 5 years has been a huge shift for you. So is that when you started to focus more on women's health specifically rather than just the general wellness and health for everybody?
I've been working specifically with women's health probably since I started in the retreats, health retreats 20 years ago, because
Right.
it was mainly women that were coming to the retreats, postpartum, pre-IVF treatments, high functioning women who 20 years ago were in their 40s and 50s, having been the first woman to sit at the bar, being the first woman to create that corporation, and then hitting various what I now would understand to be these kind of midlife milestones and questioning what's going on, questioning why their health is suddenly failing. So I didn't necessarily put it into that midlife framework. I was just treating women between the ages of 35 and 55 deal with stress and the fallout from that, which is literally every type of healthcare, really, whether it's menstrual health, mental health, joint pain, it's all coming from that workload and stress.
And the inflammation, right?
And the inflammation that occurs as a result of that, 100%.
And I think in our last episode, we spoke about, talk about this power pause, and I think it's something that, it's what you were saying, whether we're coming from high corporate and then whether it's into retirement or whether it's going into menopause and then kind of needing this kind of almost sudden urgent desire to blow up your life, which you see a lot of. And I think over the last 20 years, you've probably seen so much of that because there was not really any pinpoint. Whereas now I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like hopefully the focus is more on understanding more about what the perimenopause conversation is becoming more and more prevalent, thankfully, so that we can sort of avoid these blow-ups and, burning the house down, so to speak, when we get to that point. And I think, again, when as women in that postpartum period, when you're sitting in that first stage of kind of postpartum, or it's actually, I wouldn't even say it's the first stage, it's more sort of that second, third end stage.
I agree.
Where you're really kind of going, things have started to fall away, and at first you're scrambling to grab them all back and kind of, hold it all together. And then it's kind of I don't know, this is actually not necessary. I'm going to shake this off a bit. And that's when you see women, these mothers, creating these incredible new businesses and coming up with these fabulous new identities, or, simply just, throwing it all away and kind of going, that doesn't serve me anymore. Because I think physically, internally, we're feeling this shift and pull in our bodies, and hopefully because of these conversations and for people like, because of people like you, it's people are more aware now. So when they're feeling these things and they're, having these ailments and pushbacks from their body, they're kind of going, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's how I should be. Why do I feel this way? But I still feel like there's a long way to go. Do you?
There is a long way. It's we have come so far, so far. So, I mean, in 2019, 2020, I started to research this season of life from lots of different points of view. And there had been a couple of studies released at that point saying that by 2025, so this year, 12% of the world population would be in peri or have gone through menopause.
Yeah, wow.
Which is an enormous cohort of the population that is actually only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
So at that point I saw two opportunities, but also one of them is also a little bit terrifying in that every single marketing executive scooped up that 12% number and was like, we have got a cohort to sell shit to. And maybe they need the stuff that we're selling, maybe they don't, who cares? But on the other side of that, there's a big enough cohort of women, if we're educated enough and pooled enough and access each other enough to create some real social change.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I mean about that, in my lovely bio there, there's an opportunity for our age bracket in the 40 to 55 plus now as we age to really create with us and take with us this idea of elderhood and eldership, and be those people that we needed possibly 10 years ago, possibly right now, that we're kind of having to be for ourselves.
And, you know, I feel that there's still a lot of, you know, there's a medical side and then there's more, you know, therapeutic, should I say, side.
Yeah.
Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, I think so.
Because, you know, like even for myself, I'm 44 and we've had this conversation, right? My doctor says I'm not perimenopausal, but then the reality is I am. Yeah. Because it's not
it's not a syndrome and it's not a pathology.
And this is where I feel like it's got this negative thing. So then any
100%.
woman over 40 is like, oh, well, I'm not perimenopausal. No, I'm not.
Or alternatively, they're like, oh my God, perimenopause is ruining my life. And I am like, can I blow up the internet?
Right, let's do it. So, I mean, well, that's actually perfect because I want to know, for any of our audience who don't know what perimenopause even is, like how do you describe it?
Okay, so this is where I lean into beautifully the Chinese health perspective, right? So Chinese medicine has textbooks that are 2,000 years old that refer to all of the different life seasons and stages and ages of our life cycle, from pre-puberty through puberty, youth, maidenhood, motherhood, and our sort of midlife sector. They didn't have the word perimenopause. And then you've got, got the elders, right? They had very, very elegant, clear outlines of what was happening to our internal organ health, what was happening to our qi and blood from the Chinese health point of view, right? What was happening internally, externally, how our transforming through those stages of life affected our social connections, our like local, our family, our local communities. And, obviously it was of the age that it was written, right?
This episode of Cut the Crap is brought to you by Bespoke Creative, strategic brand and marketing solutions for visionary businesses. If you're building a business but your brand still feels like a work in progress, or you're stuck in DIY mode and it's just not cutting through, they get it. That's what they do. Bespoke craft powerful brand strategies, compelling content, and high-impact marketing campaigns to help businesses grow, scale, and stand out. Visit bespokecreative.com.au to learn more or book a free call.
But I think that's helpful for women who currently, mostly, like you say, we've only got, sometimes, there's a lot of kind of extreme woo-woo as well, which, I mean, is fun to play with, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. And I don't dismiss that at all. But the only other option is this kind of pathology mindset of like, I'm not in peri until there's a bit that's broken, or I can't sleep, or I'm super hot, or I suddenly hate my husband, or like I can't, do all the things.
Oh, the biggest one I think I feel, sorry to cut you off, is
please.
What I hear or what I experience or have over the last, because I have a lot of girlfriends who are, 10 years older than me. The biggest thing I get, they just go by their menstruation cycle. Oh, well, I'm not getting a period anymore, so I must be menopausal. Or I'm going through menopause now because my period stopped. Oh, but my periods come back.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so much more than that, isn't it?
It's so much more than that. And so, again, from a Chinese health perspective, the seasons of our period, when we've actually got our cycle, for however many decades we have that, the period of time postpartum and this peri season are called the golden opportunities, 3 golden opportunities.
Right.
And it's a delicious reframe because it is an opportunity in both of those, all of those 3 seasons of our life to practice really, really high-end self-care.
Yeah, I love that. How good is that?
3 golden opportunities. So if that was like at 12 given to us as a model of understanding our body, to say, it's emotional, isn't it?
Yeah.
To say to your 12-year-old, like, you're like, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the moon time.
Yeah.
And this is an opportunity, and we're going to eat really well, and we might sleep in a little bit more, but hey, if you want to play netball at the same time, that's cool, but understand that things might feel a little bit differently in your body. you're practicing for your postpartum self-care
Yeah.
every single month.
Yeah.
And you may or may not choose to have children, that's great, but you have that intrinsic, internally fed,
Yes.
practiced
Yeah.
self-care model given to you that frames your body as clever, creative, powerful, that it's not painful, that it's not a problem, that it's not something to fix. It's from the get-go. And then the postpartum care isn't like, well, you've made a whole brand new human, but quick sticks.
You better get back to, I know, I really did try to embrace that Eastern.
I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, no, but I really did try the 40 days. I probably did 30 days at home.
Beautiful.
I mean, you know, I did get out of the house because I would literally lose my mind. But, you know, I mean, but just walks around the block and, you know, and not lots of visitors and not, you know, because I was like, no, this is, I mean, it's my third time round. But it's so important to do that. And the foods and nourishing foods and taking care of yourself. I mean, my stepmother's Chinese, so I have a little understanding, a deeper understanding of how Chinese, you know, from, you know, she was in my life from the age of 9. So I understood a lot about, you know, those kind of things that she was a very different opinion of the way things were done. So you sort of get a little bit that, you know, by osmosis, right? Sort of just comes into you. So you sort of understand it. But yeah, God, like just how much more positive our, you know, women and young women would be if, you know, they kind of had that deeper understanding and
100%.
taking away this negative. And then, you know, again, it comes down to like, obviously, you know, you've been treating me because of like a recent endometriosis diagnosis, which potentially I could have had my entire life, but somehow I've just managed to get to 44 without having any issues. And then obviously post IVF, post third baby, things have blown up and it's really affected. But I intrinsically knew that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, no one was listening. And it was just like an almost over 12-month battle to try and then starting to question, am I going
bonkers?
Am I hypochondriac? Like, am I just like, do I just need to, and constantly the self-talk was, you need to buck up and move on. Like, you need to just get on with it. You should be able to do this. You should have the energy. If you don't have the energy, it's probably just because you're old. Like, you know, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that what I see a lot of, and I guess a lot of it does come down to what we are digesting, right? But, you know, as in, you know, through the mind. But I see a lot of it's either, you know, if your periods are painful, it's bad, there's something wrong with you, it's like hard, or it's like, it's just, there's no in between. There's none of that softness and support and understanding. And like, God, like I just wish that,
And that's where Chinese health, like acupuncture, herbs, because of the timeline of it isn't a new medicine. It isn't a brand new way of looking at things. And it is very complementary with whatever else you might be needing to do. So if you are, you know, going through IVF, if you are choosing to have surgery for different things, it can work. It can be a really helpful option to support you through whatever that is.
Yeah.
And from the peri side of things, you know, technically from, again, that Chinese health point of view, from the age of 35, it said we're entering in this new season. Now, that's not a cliff you fall off, but it's an understanding at 35, my body is potentially, depending on how I live, depending on how much rest I've got, depending on whether I've already had my children, depending on all sorts of things, if I still want to have my children, I'm going to need to pay a little bit more care and attention.
Yeah.
If there's starting to be changes in my cycle, I don't need to pathologize that. I just need to pay attention. So I think online there's beautifully a lot more education around tracking your cycle and getting in touch with that. And a lot of women in their 40s are like, well, my period's apparently almost over. Why would I bother starting to track? And it's like, well, actually, just think of it from the perspective of let's pay attention.
Yeah, to your body.
Let's just pay attention.
Yeah.
Because if something is happening, like most months on day 12, then that's cyclic.
Yeah.
And we can treat that. We can, you know, that will tell us a lot about why that's happening.
Yeah.
And so you don't fall off a cliff at 35,
Yeah.
but certainly by the age of 40, there will be changes occurring because the body's clever. It doesn't just suddenly wake up at 51 and pull on the handbrake and
Exactly.
say, see you later, periods.
Yeah. And this is why, but you get these women going, oh, well, now I'm menopausal. Like all of a sudden it's just happened,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not like that, right?
And it's actually not. And I mean, I think it's wonderful that there are more conversations happening, and I'm happy for any conversation to be happening.
And you know, I've noticed that a lot of more conversations, you know, and it's funny, like it makes you feel a little bit old, like because a lot of, you know, ladies that I work with in business and, you know, colleagues, they're, you know, it's about 10 years younger than me. And a lot of it is like, oh, well, I'm probably not going to be available tomorrow because I'm in my little, like, you know, phase, or, you know, I'm not little phase, but, you know, like I'm going into this and I'm like, I really respect it because I'm like, you know, at first I was kind of like, oh, come on. You know, I'm like, really? I'm like, I think we can still do some work. But you know, I'm like, you're honouring that. I will honour that for you because, you know, I didn't have that opportunity because we didn't have that. It's just like, you know, and probably I still don't quite have that mentality for myself. However, I really respect that they are, and because it's those women coming through that will support that for the next generation.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
I've got because I teach at one of the acupuncture colleges, and my group this last 12 months, they have been sort of in the 25 to 30 year age bracket, and I love these. Like, they are just so much fun. It is so much fun. I highly recommend, and I guess because I don't have children, right? So if I did have children, they potentially would be that age, but it's and for that reason, I'm hearing their conversations, and I'm hearing, oh, well, like my brain's really busy today, but you know, I'm on day 23, so that's to be expected. And there's just compassion. They're not writing themselves off. They're not saying they're not going to hand in their assignment.
Yeah.
They're still showing up. They're still doing whatever. But there's just this, like, and I'm like, girlfriend.
Giving themselves some grace, giving some understanding around it, but just even having that, because our parents didn't have that, our mothers didn't have that.
No.
And, you know, I think it's really incredible. I mean, obviously I have boys, so, you know, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I've got, you know, I've got two like nieces now who are teenagers, and you know, I was actually talking to their mother yesterday about a few things, and it's just, you know, it's just so interesting. And then you just like, you kind of just like want to go, no, don't, you know, do this with them, and you know, and it's like, you know, all of these things that you, but hopefully they become more aware of all of those things that are going on. But even like you said, that, you know, tracking your cycle, and it doesn't have to be hard. And you know what, for me, if it wasn't for me spending 12 months literally tracking my cycle, even I was breastfeeding when I started, I would not have got a doctor to listen to me.
Yeah.
Because it was not only like it started with the skin.
Yeah.
That was the first thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking like, I wasn't getting breakouts like pimples. I was getting rashes, and it was like, oh, it's dietary, and then it's this. And I mean, obviously the stomach, because I have IBS and I've had that for 20 years, and that's kind of was always there.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to see that a lot of that was coming from what else was going on in my body. But I just found there's a period tracker in your Apple phone. And it is bloody good, and it exports a PDF. Yeah. You don't have to download another app. Like, there's all those fancy apps. I used Flow for a while when we were first, you know, trying to fall pregnant and all of the rest of it. But, you know, it's perfect. Like, the tools are there to use. Yeah. To just understand where you are. And it gives you a little reminder and says, oh, you're ovulating, or you're about to ovulate, or, you know, potentially, you know, these kind of things. And it's so good. But what do you think, what are the most common misunderstandings or myths around this stage of life for women?
That key one that I think we've really talked, you know, gloriously about is that they're waiting for the symptom. And I was doing the same thing. At 42, I was looking around going, is perimenopause going to jump out from behind something somewhere at me? You know, until I really educated myself, and I was like, oh no, I'm already in perimenopause. I'm already here, and there's an opportunity here to just know that, not pathologize that, although there's been plenty of opportunities to chase symptoms and unfun things, but to just be like, oh, right, how do I want this experience to go down?
Yeah. Yeah. And did you have lots of struggles with were you having health struggles at the time?
In hindsight, in my early 40s, I had some subclinical thyroid issues.
Okay.
And I see that actually quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think you saw that with me a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, and like all my hair fell out and I was stressed and I wasn't coping with things quite the same way that I would have.
Yeah.
And that is like, it's textbook, you know, it's textbook, that capacity, cushion that we'll often have to be able to deal with sudden change or, you know, difficult things.
But we put that down to, and, you know, sometimes it very well is as well.
Of course.
But we put it down to, you know, stress and trauma, you know, just like life is hard.
And it is that, and your ability to do 10 things and have 12 plates is now 8 things and 4 plates.
Yeah. We, you know, we just have to be kinder.
There's just an enormous amount of compassion. And your body will, like, in then my later 40s, I had some health issues, and you know, there was some really key moments where I had to stop, and again, stop pathologizing, stop chasing the fix, stop looking at myself and my body from a place of I am broken and flawed. And yes, I need to take care of things. There were, you know, practical tasks and doctor's appointments and, you know, acupuncture treatments that were entered into. What is my body trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm still taking care of the things. Yes, I'm going and making sure that it's not an infection or it's not a, you know, virus or not a whatever. I'm being sensible. And also, what's happening here?
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes time, doesn't it?
Time, it takes as long as it takes. And none of us, like, I'm so impatient as a personality.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
So impatient. Oh, my God.
But everything yesterday.
Please and thank you.
Yeah.
And that is not how it works.
No, I know. And if only you could, you know, but it's just, it's hard, but you do have to take the time, and you will, like, you know, you sort of see it even when you reflect back, like even just the little things, you know, the supplements and, you know, kind of like, actually,
What do you know? If I do one thing every day for 6 months, it has an accumulative effect and it's positive.
Yes, and you know, that's it. I was listening to something about, you know, and nothing, you know, you can hear the same information multiple times, right? But depending on the way that it's put to you will depend on how you digest it.
100%.
And interestingly enough, I was listening to this thing about habit stacking, and it was more just about moving through, you know, working towards big goals for the new year, and, you know, sort of setting yourself up for this last quarter before, you know, the new year, that sort of thing. But, you know, one of the thing, you know, the biggest thing is that this, I think when we give coin terms for things, sometimes people go, oh, that's too hard. You know, I hear habit stacking and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm like, I'm already doing that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just committing small things and adding something in. So, for example, you know, trying to get, like, I find that my schedule is so different now. I find it really hard sometimes to get in the time for me the way that I used to.
Of course.
And so, you know, my son has swimming lessons on a Monday morning. Now that's changed. So it's earlier, and that changes my entire morning. And then I'm like, okay, so what do I do? So now we can go and we go for a walk for an hour. I get in my steps, I get my exercise, but we go down through the beachfront and he gets to see, you know, like on Monday we saw whales, we saw diggers, we saw Barobi the koala.
Diggers are like a key situation.
Yeah, and, you know, because he's obsessed with whales, and actually there was a mother and her calf, and they had the full, like, you know, whatever they call it. Breaching with the tails
the
up.
whales
and
have been amazing.
Everything, and it was amazing, and it was so cool, and he could see it, you know, and that was so special.
Yeah.
So, and that, to me, that is part of habit stacking. That is, you know, just putting in something else that you can add in to a time when you're already there, you're already doing it,
100%.
you know, and making that, rather than just, you know, getting home, doing other things, falling into work, falling into this, falling into that, and then getting to the end of the day and going, oh my God, I still haven't done, you know, this, and this. And, you know, but it's just, it's very interesting, but it's just those small things. Like, you know, I loved it when, you know, we first started working together and you said to me, you know, we were talking about MSM and you said to me, I don't want you to overload, just start with one thing and, you know, and that one thing. And then I've kind of been able to put my creatine in with that, which has made a huge difference. And then it's like you kind of go, oh, that's actually working. Like I can feel there's less inflammation in my body. I'm clearer. I actually feel like I have more energy at the end of the day. I'm not falling in a heap at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And you can actually see what's working. You weren't adding more stress to this ideal that was something we've got to do 700 extra things.
And because it's that pressure of that, of having that, you know, and being able to do all of these things and being aware of that. But again, you know, does that come down to age too? Does that come down to self-awareness and just understanding that we don't have to force our bodies and our minds into doing all of these things all the time? So, you know, straight away.
I certainly hope it is. I certainly hope that's one of the positives. But I'm also open to younger women getting that well before we do. Do you know what I mean?
I know. That would be good.
I would love that so much for them.
So what... So I think that one of the biggest things that, you know, leading into that is that we as women, we always have to have it all together. We always have to be holding it all together.
Oh my God.
We're never, you know, like, oh, you're amazing, I don't know how you do it. You know, that is, I mean, there was that movie, right, with just Sarah Jessica Parker, however long ago, 10 odd years ago or whatever. I don't know how she does it, which was from the book. And it's such a badge of honour that you can manage to do all of these things. But why do you think that we as women feel that we have to hold it all together all the time?
Oh, goodness. That is like literally the crux of all of it. That's like actually the plug that's holding the like dam at bay.
Right.
100%. And look, early on, the women that I was treating who were the burnt out corporates, who were like lawyers and judges and, you know, like doing all of the things, it's kind of like a history of feminism in 10 words or less by Keri. But they had to work exactly the way that men worked. They had to get to where they were. They literally had to force their bodies, their minds, their physiology, their mindset, their day, the hours they worked, it had to look exactly like the way the men were working. In some sectors that has changed and evolved. It has a very, very long way to go, I feel, but it's important to, you know, acknowledge where we've come from. Part of that was, well, you can, and I think my generation, I don't know how, I mean, there's only a few years difference. I know my best friend who's only just 39, 40. It's been a little bit different again, but I witnessed my mum and my stepmum, you can have it all, but you have to do it all. And that was a badge of honour, 100%. You can have it all. You can have the career and the children and the house and the car and the na, but you have to actually do it all. That was the option, and we had had to be grateful for the opportunity to literally do it all. And, you know, that conversation has continued to evolve in some sectors, in some houses, in some places that's not so much the case. And I guess that's also what I'm hoping. I mean, I've got a lot riding on like Gen X and their perimenopause experience. That we can just burn that shit to the ground. Like unapologetically burn that shit to the ground. I feel quite spicy about that, to be fair. And because it is a problem, and it's not something that, because the women that I know, like yourself, like my best friend, again, entrepreneurial, runs her own business, had her her daughter, my niece, on her own. She's only just over 12 months. She's doing it all on her own. And her friends are like, how are you doing it all? She's like, I'm not. I've got aunties and nanas and nannies, and I'm hemorrhaging cash because I need to pay to be able to do 75 things. Yeah. And there are days where I just lie in bed with my child and we just watch Miss Rachel, and I'm not doing it all. Yeah. I mean, she is. Yes. But also, and you are, and there's so many women in that same boat. But bringing back that village, and I know there's a lot of lip service to that, but I think there needs to be a functional modelling of what that can look like. Yeah, definitely. And I think unfortunately, I think we're a long way off that still. We're a long way off it. Yeah. But it's like, who did I say? I heard something and it was like, we need to actually be willing to be villagers. Correct. We actually need to be willing to be the person that knocks on the door and says, here's some food. Yeah. And, I think because I speaking from my own experience coming into this third pregnancy, even though, I have a wonderfully supportive partner, I, obviously spent, 20 odd years as a single parent. Yeah. So I did, and I was on my own from when my second son, both of my kids were very young, very young. So that I've always just had to do it myself. And of course I had support, small family support, but also I had a terminally ill mother the whole entire time as well. So it wasn't like I just could do whatever I wanted to. No. And then, I somehow managed to, I don't know. Sometimes I think I don't know. I think it was my age. I think I was just young enough that I didn't have any fear. So I just literally got out there and built myself an international business so I could put a roof over my head and my children. There was never the intention, but that's what I did. And, it had to... I had to force that, but I was very much in that I had to be yang. I had to have so much yang energy because I had no choice. And there isn't a choice. No. You just got to do it. That's right. And then moving into this, third time around and even trying to fall pregnant, there was still so much yang, and I really had to release a lot of that so that I could be softer and be more feminine, be more accepting and be and allow, I find it very hard to ask for help. Yeah. And because often I will ask for help, and history has often proven to me that those people will let me down. I'll be there to help you. Oh, look, something's happened. I can't come. I feel that. And I just go, see? Yeah, that's why. I don't bother asking for help because everybody lets you down. Oh, yeah. And that's also not very good, so I try to be very open. And, my wiser years, I try to be more understanding that that's just life, and I am understanding of that. However, it still is contract proof to me that consistently these people will let you down. And it's not a certain person, it's just the way it is. Yeah. But fortunately, and I think, for me, I was lucky, but we have to force this, right? When I first had Parker, we were going to... I was going to my Pilates every week, and we were doing a mums and bubs class, and it was wonderful. And then, there were a couple of other mums in the class with their babies, and, all of our babies were so young, sort of like, 3-4 months old. And, one day I just said to one of the mums, do you want to go and have a coffee? And she was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, should we ask the other lady? And she was like, sure. And then I was like, do you want to come for a coffee? And she was like, I can't this week because I have to go to the, something, but I will next week. Okay. So, but then the next week, everyone walks in a bit sheepish, and then, we're like, oh, do you want to come? And anyway, long story short, those women, there are 7 of us. Sadly, one of us has moved to Melbourne, but we still stay in contact. Amazing. We still have a group of ladies. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. But if we didn't force that and stay committed, we've got a little group chat that we still talk to each other. We now catch up like once a month, and some of us still catch up every week.
if we didn't force that, we wouldn't have that. And, you know, all of us in that group have been through challenges, emotionally or otherwise, and we've been there to be able to support each other. Probably not as much as we would like to, but we definitely have.
You do the best you can, right?
Yeah, and, you know, I know that there's a lot of, you know, community building out there, but we're still so far off actually, you know, I need to take that shit offline. You know, like it's got to be face to face.
It has to be.
I love the online community and I think it's amazing, but like we need to fucking be there for each other, man. Like
you need someone, and I think yes, absolutely, 100%. And I am that awkward person who, in certain circumstances, I turn up in my pajamas with a meal.
Let's cut the crap for a second. If this episode landed for you, made you think, laugh, or feel a little bit more seen, I'd love for you to follow the show and leave a review. It's one of the easiest ways to reach more people like you, and it means the world to us. And it helps us to continue to bring more great guests to the show. Wherever you're listening, just hit follow and drop a quick review. Yeah.
I'm like,
here you go.
Forks.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's also because I've had to unlearn my inability to ask for help.
Yes. Yeah. And it's bloody hard, isn't it?
It's really challenging because there will always be evidence to say that you want to be let down. Disappointment, and, you know, like, and we make that or take that personally to mean that we're not valuable or not worth helping, or that we're somehow flawed, because that is the like cultural narrative of these kind of isolated silo lifestyles that we're sold as women, to literally be able to do all of the things all on our own and wear that as a badge of honour. Yes. And that is not how it works. I mean, it can if you've got enough juice in the tank, if you've got enough cash in the bank, potentially those two things can support you to remain isolated. I wonder what that looks like when you get to 45 and 50 and whether that is one of those lifestyles that you like throw a match over your shoulder and burn it all to the ground because you're missing something.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Like I just think, you know, it's that deep sadness, that deep loneliness and, you know, like loss, like lack of fulfillment.
Yeah. Well, and like one of the, I mean, in your questions, you know, I was kind of looking and thinking like, what is success and all these sorts of things, and we'll get there. I don't want to jump forward, but one of the most helpful things in my midlife journey, as I've felt unsure and scared and taking new steps and creating new businesses and doubting myself and starting a new relationship and all sorts of things, is where I have had meaningful purpose to give to others. It has just nourished me beyond. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And in that role as like auntie to my niece and to help my friend and be there and share those moments has nourished me more than any of the therapy that I did, more than any of the acupuncture that I did. I mean, I definitely highly recommend acupuncture and therapy. And as someone who didn't have my own children to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to, like, those dream feeds, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Bliss. Yeah. 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 You know, so I don't know that that's necessarily a perimenopause support system, like go and find a baby you can snip the head of. I think there's probably some social parameters that we need to put around that.
Yeah, we are not suggesting.
You just randomly go to Woolies and start snipping babies' heads. You're going to get arrested.
Yeah, you might end up. Do not call us.
We are not taking responsibility for that. But it has, like, honestly, been such a key part of this season of my life anyway.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then, so, you know, what do you think the hidden costs are of, you know, trying to have it all figured out?
Being open to mystery. Being open to things being even better than your precise, like, vision board. Yeah. Because like I said earlier, like nothing in my life was here 5 years ago. And I would not have even known how to ask for what I'm currently enjoying. Yeah. I would not, like, there's not a, and I did a lot of vision boards. Like I was in the OG vision board days, right?
Okay. You're one of those ladies.
2010. I mean, there was a lot of vision boards, and I mean, none of the beautiful things that I would rate as the thing. So I think having a plan, having systems. I love systems. I love making the complicated tasks of life easy and systemizing things. Amazing.
Yeah.
There has to be room for like mystery and life to happen for you.
Yeah, joy, right?
Yeah, and just stuff to happen that you couldn't even have thought to ask for, that just breezes in the door and says, guess what, it gets even better.
Yeah. And, so do you feel that, like, there's probably women listening to this who are thinking to themselves, well, that's all really great, but like I can't blow up my life, or I can't deal with that, or I can't unplug the dam, or, all of those things. So how does someone just, drop into themselves enough to just listen to, because, the biggest thing is that central nervous system, when that is calling out for help, right? How do we just tap into that a little bit? How do we just slow down and just kind of get with the program?
I really, really like, yes, I'm a Leo, I'm a little bit theatrical and dramatic. If you want to blow up your life, call me and I will help you do it really elegantly. But I don't recommend. There is lots of ways to change, evolve, grow your life. It is really almost physiologically impossible when you are in that fight or flight heightened state, or alternatively in a complete shutdown freeze state, to make healthy changes. Like, you actually don't have access to your neurotransmitters that are going to be helpful to make those changes.
And that is a sign that you need to.
So book an acupuncture treatment.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of funny, but ask for help.
Yeah.
From the right sources.
Yeah.
Therapeutic help is really, really, really helpful. And also, so is choosing. So one of the exercises when I used to do coaching, one of the most simple exercises is write a list of things you love. 10 things you love. I like sunsets. I like cups of tea, and simple things, right? Sunsets, cups of tea. I like the color pink. I like soft, fluffy things. Like I like dogs, whatever it is, right? Have you had an experience with one of those things every day?
Yeah, wow, I love that.
Simple. Like tea in your favorite cup, 2 minutes, practically free.
Yeah.
Every day. If you want to talk about habit stacking, that actually creates, and it's a micro moment, and it doesn't feel like you've had a cathartic transformation and now you can move on and move out of fight or flight or freeze and change it. But you do one of those things every single day. I really like sunsets and I never get to see them. And so you make sure that on a Friday afternoon you're able to get and watch the sunset.
Yeah, beautiful.
Again, it is free.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I'm going to put this in the show notes. We'll write this and we'll put this in the show notes for everybody. Amazing. So that they can refer back to it. I love this. This is amazing.
Because it's connecting you with the things you love.
Yeah.
But it's connecting you with yourself.
And it's so simple.
And it really genuinely is simple.
Because when you are in, and I've been in that many
100%.
times, when you are in that, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to even think about that.
No.
How can I do that when I can't, and
you're lying there panicked with a high heart rate going, visualize a rose quartz. And you're like, fuck you, rose quartz. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, we're in the swearing part of the podcast.
Yeah, no, we're allowed to swear here. No, I love that. That's really good. Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. So, we've just been talking about this, but what do you think that what is one of the best, most practical tools that a woman in her 30s and 40s can do to start to support this season of her life and her health in this way?
Practice noticing your body and how you feel. And you don't have to make it mean anything necessarily, but just notice. Like, if you need to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. If you're hungry, eat food. Now, I know that sounds a tiny bit patronizing, but how often do we skip lunch because I don't have time, and you just ignore your hunger cues?
Yeah.
You know, how long do you finally, you know, and obviously there's things, you know, like you've got tiny children, there's like moments, right? Track your cycle. Use the Apple app, get a fancy one, you know, get your favorite colored pens if you need to, like if that's where you're at, like track your cycle. You don't have to rearrange your life around it, but just notice, am I feeling more tired? Am I feeling more hungry? Do I get lots of, you know, great work done on day 14? How can I optimize that? You know, do I actually usually just need 2 hours extra sleep on day 25? Please give it to yourself if it's at all possible every other month.
Yeah.
Just notice, because we live here. We do actually live here. And we don't have to wait until we're unwell. There's an extraordinary scope of optimal health. And you don't suddenly wake up at 40 or 45 with cardiovascular issues, cholesterol, you know, high blood pressure and whatever else, type 2 diabetes or whatever else. Like that takes decades to happen.
Yeah.
So notice what it is that you need, and as best as you're able, give yourself what you need.
Yeah. And then if women are feeling, you know, if they're starting to do this and they're really starting to see some things showing up, and, you know, what do you suggest the first steps?
Look, I'm very sensible in as much as if you are concerned about any of the big scaries, go and get blood tests, go and see your GP. It is tiring to continue to advocate for yourself. We've had that conversation. I know in my experience, you turn up to it and you're like, oh my goodness, okay, let's tell the story again. Let's go.
Yeah.
And self-responsibility is hard, often expensive, time-consuming. And if you can access that first to find other healthcare options, acupuncture, natural therapies, herbalist, an integrative GP who is, and again, that kind of, that word, what does it even mean now? But a GP that is going to do potentially extra testing from outside the normal parameters if that's required. But also sometimes if you know, are still young enough, like good sleep, protein, green food, having someone to talk to with, you know, is going to get some really helpful and healthy outcomes happening.
Yeah. So how do you see the role of community and conversation in changing the way that we look at perimenopause?
I think it's really valuable for women to share their stories, and I want women to be able to understand that every woman's story is going to be different, and it is powerful and unique and meaningful. There's no wrong way to do perimenopause. There's no wrong way to do menopause. It's like saying there's a right and a wrong way to do pregnancy. There is your way.
Yeah.
You know, that's in experience with you and your life and your unique history and circumstances.
I really learnt that with IVF.
Yeah.
I really learnt that so deeply. You know, I remember being there for bloods one day, waiting in the waiting room, and there was, I don't know, it was quite a busy morning, and there was probably about seven women in there and a couple of men. And I just kind of looked around, and, you know, you hear someone is going in for this, and then they're talking to the receptionist about this particular thing or whatever. And I thought to myself, like, we are all doing the same process, but every single step is a variable.
Yeah.
Which means that every single person in here's pathway is not even similar in any way, shape or form.
No.
And it's just incredible that, you know, because depending on what happens in what part will change that. And, you know, and again, and that, like you said, with pregnancy, then, everybody's pregnancy is different. There is no right, there is no wrong. And I think that, you know, I mean, it's a good metaphor for all of life.
Yeah,
really. Right?
And the only I mean, again, I'm getting a little bit spicy, but I think there's a potential for a lot of factioning to start to happen in this peri and menopause sector, where there's only one right way, and the women that are on HRT are now upset at the women that have chosen not to do HRT because someone has to be right and someone has to be wrong. What a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
And that if we can have compassion and openness and understanding for every woman to have access to choose her right path.
Yeah.
Acupuncture, HRT with acupuncture, burning your house down, I don't know, changing your business, like
Dyeing your hair pink.
Like sniffing babies, like just go for it. But genuinely though, like the only people that benefit from that factioning is, I don't know, like marketing companies and the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Because it's like if women understood how powerful we are together, and that's what I mean, there's 12% and growing of the entire world population. If we could understand how much we have in common instead of focusing on the variances.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity for enormous, meaningful social change.
Right, I know. You know, I was saying this yesterday. I just feel like as women, if we were just more understanding and supportive of each other rather than trying to be closed off and competitive, you know, we're not competing against each other.
There's enough
and
to go around.
There's just this, you know, this constant threat of, you know, especially if you're a stronger woman, or, you know, we're all here to work together and be together, and, you know, there's so much more we could do if we dropped those barriers and let the egos go and just supported each other and, you know, created more meaningful work, right?
100%. And that's the internal work that's necessary. There's an opportunity to really kind of, because that comes from fear of not being good enough, fear of there not being enough of whatever the thing is that we think we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
also, you know, unfortunately it's the media and marketing.
We've been sold
society.
It.
Yeah, that, you know, but again, it does come from a deeper place, and I think that, you know, you can't, not everyone will get there.
No, and that's okay too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it would be great if we could just be softer and more open with each other instead of pretending like, you know, that it's that automatic, like, how are you today? Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
And you're dying inside, and you could really just do with a hug.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, you can't just go cry to every person you see.
No,
but
of course not. Of course not. There's like appropriateness and and things.
But why do we? You know, why are we not like, you know, even. You know, I even see it in, like, you know, we've got a beautiful, like I said, this beautiful group of mums, and you know, but I even see that in our, you know, in our group, and you can see the energies, and it's not until, and I'll say this, it's not until we're all together face to face when the shit falls away.
Because you can actually feel each other. And as animals, as mammals, we've got like physiological processes that are actually happening.
Yeah.
Like our, you know, mirror neurons are like bouncing off each other in this moment. We're seeing our experience and feeling our experience in a way that is helpful, obviously.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, like, of course, the like I said before, the digital community is great, and it's good to be able to have that.
Amazing.
But, you know, it's just the change, the shifts in energy that you see face to face. You will never beat it, right? You'll never ever. Like, it's always, and it's so important to have that.
I think so.
And just, you know, I think that's, you know, that's what everyone needs to do, is just one more face to face catch up. You know, a week. Even in business, I feel it's so important. I'm old school. I love it. I'm like, do we have to do a Zoom? Like, I get it. You live on the other side of the world, so that's okay. You know? But like, let's meet face to face. Let's just have a coffee. Everyone, I know it's, you know, I don't have time, I'm too busy and this and that. But even for the other person who's so busy that doesn't have time to get out of the door and all of the rest of it, you're just driving in their car and going somewhere and sitting for a coffee and just having that time. I don't care what anyone says. It helps.
Yeah.
It It makes your day brighter.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, breaks it up.
And there's an opportunity. I mean, again, I sound like this, eternal optimist. I'm actually really not. I'm such a pragmatic, oh, well, we better plan for the apocalypse type person.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity in that because you've got space in your day for things that you didn't plan, good things that you didn't plan to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So on that note, so you've said you believe that this generation of women will become the wildest, healthiest elders of our future. So what does that look like to you?
It looks like what we're talking about. It looks like accepting and maybe not even understanding, but accepting and respecting other women's journeys.
Yeah.
And hearing their stories and learning from that. It means modeling that for the younger generation.
Yeah.
Which I think is so important. It means, I don't know, I look forward to, I'm not in a hurry, but I look forward to being even older with even more grey hair and living out a really free version of that. Like there's such freedom on the other side of perimenopause. That's my experience anyway. And it's certainly my wish for women who potentially haven't, in different seasons of life, there's things that you've just got to do, whether it's mothering or career or what have you, and there's so much freedom possibly available. I don't know, just to be, I just came back from Greece. I'm still that wanker going on about her Greek holiday. But
that's okay. We can live vicariously through you.
But the nonnas, I've just gone on about the nonnas since I got back. People are like, how was Greece? It was amazing. The water, the beach, blah, blah, blah. Like these, elderly, like properly elderly women at 10 o'clock in the morning or helping each other out of the stony, just living their most delicious life.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like there's, we're at an age where we're setting that up.
Yeah.
Where we're setting up whatever that's going to look like, and we get to model that for our sisters and our nieces, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, same. That's beautiful. So if you could leave women listening with one message about perimenopause and women's health, what would that be?
Your body is wise. Your body is so wise.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I feel emotional just thinking.
So, all right. So now we're into our rapid fire questions.
I want to cry. What are you doing
with me? So, all right, here we go.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, cut the crap confession. What's one thing in business and life that you used to believe but now you call bullshit on?
Oh, you've just got to do all the things. And you've got to do it like everyone else does it.
Yeah.
And if it works, just do it. Spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Press go, press play, press done.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nike was onto something.
Yeah. Damn it, they've got there first.
So what does success look like for you today? Not the polished version, but the real one.
It looks like Friday afternoon debrief with my man, just watching the sun go down and maybe having a glass of wine, maybe having a cup of tea. It looks like Tuesday mornings in bed with my best friend, having coffee, and with my niece doing the brekkie coffee stuff. That is just
cute.
such a generous experience that I get to have. And then that feels like I've created a life that's successful to have time to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
To do both of those things, to just really value those key friendships and relationships in my life.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's very unpolished, and it's usually with bed hair and
So what's your daily non-negotiable look like? Something that keeps you grounded?
Pup walk first thing in the morning.
Little Freya.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. First thing in the morning. And look, there's other things of drink this, take that, but just that has been the one thing, even with my old dog before Freya. Every single morning for the last 15 years, I get up and I walk on the beach.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something special about it, isn't it? Just a great way to start your day.
Great way.
What about for, I think sometimes because I'm the same as you, and then I hear people say to me, but I can't walk around my place, and I can't get out, and I can't get to the beach, and it's too hard, and, what do you say to that?
Look, I definitely have been lucky and or have chosen to try and afford to live near the beach. I'm a North Queensland ocean kid from way back. The beach might not be your jam. There will be something that you can do. A yoga class, a walk around your neighbourhood, I don't know, something, a hill that you walk up near your place. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like there will be something.
Just even stepping outside and getting some sunshine on your face, right?
Literally look up to the sky and take in 5 breaths, say good morning, and head back in and do the, lunchbox, work out the door thing.
Do you remember that movie? I can't think what it is right now, but it was I don't know what it was. And it just says, and just look up. Look up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I'm going to have to try and remember what that was. But it's so true. Like, just because we spend so much time looking down, I'm going to Google it after this and I'm going to work it out. But, and just, looking up.
Just look up.
And just look at the wonder. And, it was reminded me of it, that just sparked a memory. Last weekend, Parker was just like walking around, and he's just to that point where he's understanding his movement of shifting the body weight. They go from learning to be able to take 2 feet off the ground and jump, and then spin around and do things. But he was just looking up and just outside and just walking around and just looking up, and it was just such a simple pleasure. And I was just it's so good.
And that's
that
is available to us,
Yeah. You just need to look at children, I think, to see what's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going off track. That's not unusual.
No, not for me either.
What's one thing you've stopped doing that made space for more of the life that you actually want?
Oh. I stopped caring about what I thought it had to look like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's
and it wasn't particularly easy necessarily, because again, I'm stubborn and impatient. It's a wonderful combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Love that.
Let it go.
So, what's one book, podcast, or resource that's made a big impact on your life or work that you would recommend?
Well, I haven't written my book yet.
But that will. So we'll.
Yeah. Oh, look. One day.
We'll get back there.
One day. I had an opportunity to plan for this and I haven't. Find someone's story that inspires you. Mm-hmm. And it's probably not going to be in even your work sector or even about a topic that you're going through necessarily, but just listen to other women's stories, read books sharing other women's stories. They can be leading lives completely different from yours, completely different age groups, completely different time zones, life experiences. I love hearing how other women live and not even what they chose, but how they got to the point of choosing what they chose. Yeah. The process of how they chose what they chose, what it meant to them, the way they checked in with themselves, what was important at the time, what they value. Like I have learned so much from literally every podcast and book I've ever read, whether it's, like Alicia Keys, who you've got absolutely nothing in common with.
Oh, come on.
You know what I mean? Do you know, like
her piano skills.
Yeah. Or other health-based books where they're really, talking to you about that season of life that you're in.
Yes, yeah.
There's so much
there is
to be learnt, and just to see how other women live their lives.
Absolutely. I really agree with that. Yeah. All right, so a little fun one because I'm obviously I come from a very musical background.
Okay.
And
I did not know this about you.
Yeah,
I did not know this about you.
My father was a musician, so was my mother. I was in a band until actually I think I sang my last.
Let's make a band.
I know. Well, actually, funny you should say that because one of another who will be listening to this, wonderful lady Bronte who has commercial cohort. She has just started playing the drums.
Oh my God, we've already got a band,
and
ladies.
I'm like, yes, we've got a band. And I bought a new guitar, so I'm like, I can't play it, but it's really pretty.
That is beside the point.
My son is a great guitarist, and I'm still waiting for the lessons.
Okay.
Because that was my thing. I bought this guitar when Mum passed away, and I was like, I'm going to learn to play properly because I can sing, but I can't play guitar. And so I was like, I want it, and I can do a teeny tiny little bit of piano, but my father was an incredible pianist. And so, but no, my last gig was when I was pregnant with Parker, actually.
Oh,
I haven't been back, but we need a ladies' band.
Yeah.
We could be the perimenopause band. Actually, Sophie Ellis Bextor has just released a new album.
Oh my God, I love her.
That is called Perimenopause.
Oh my God, I did not know any of this. I'm going to listen to that on the way home.
Good. She's just started her little, media rounds. So, what is your ultimate hype song? What's your, the song that, gets you going, or, if you want to feel your most empowered self, what is the song that you would be playing?
Look, so many. So many.
I know it's hard.
Right now, what is instantly coming to me, because I was like, don't overthink this.
Yeah.
But right now, what's coming to me, I love a bit of Florence and the Machine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The theatrical, her voice, but even just like her You've Got the Love.
Yes. Oh, that's a great one.
Do you know? So it's not necessarily, but I just am like, just in that moment, I'm like, yeah.
That's such a good one. Yeah, it just when you crank that song up in the car, it's like the shackles are coming off. It's like,
and it's always in the
thing.
car. I don't know what it is about that.
Yeah.
You're just like in your own studio on wheels, and it is happening.
Yeah, love that. Amazing. All right. So, and now last thing, where can people find you?
They can find me spending way too much time on Instagram. I will respond to that DM faster than I really should. So if you want to hold me, accountable to boundaries, please just send me a DM and I'll count to 10.
Okay.
My website, KeriKrieger.com. And my beautiful studio, Chevron Island Health Studio.
Yes, which I will be visiting tomorrow.
Yay!
I love my little sessions. But I will add all the links in the show note as well.
Amazing.
But thank you so very, very much.
Oh, this has just been such a fun chat.
It's been great, and I'm so glad that we got to have you on. And I feel like this is only part one of many parts, and you will be back again.
We've got so much in common. I've just discovered. I'm like, right.
And so much more to talk about. But I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your week to come in.
I'm so grateful.
It's great. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of Cut the Crap. If something in today's episode has resonated with you, please make sure that you send it to a friend and share it. Make sure you subscribe, get onto YouTube. If you're a watcher, take a look and leave us a comment so that more people like you can find us. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in to Cut the Crap. If something in today's episode resonated with you, made you feel seen, or sparked a new thought, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Remember, real life is messy, business is personal, and growth isn't always glamorous, but it's always worth it. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and join me each week as we keep cutting the crap. I'll see you in the next episode.